In Argentina, more than 1,000 families were affected by the floods caused by heavy rainfall that hit the city of Plata with particular strength. Wildfires continue to burn in northwest Canada, causing evacuation of thousands of residents. And in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, 230 people, including children, have died of cholera in the first 7 months of 2023. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Rosabal from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. In Colombia on Thursday, the Meeting for Truth for Non-Repetition is underway at the Center of Memory, Peace and Reconciliation. This event is attended by representatives of the international community and national organizations, and according to Elena Oran Videgain, head of the Unit for Non-Repetition Issues of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, this is a place of question about the pain of the victims, the legitimization of the suffering of others, and the naturalization of war. The diplomatic corps accredited in Colombia, as well as civil society organizations and the national government, attended the event. In addition, former parliamentary chief Carlos Mario Jimenez will make an extrajudicial statement. The Colombian Attorney General Francisco Barbosa revealed the acts of corruption committed by a rich executive who created a criminal enterprise.
The public prosecutor's office then reveals the corruption scheme with which Odebrecht executives had created a criminal enterprise to deliver more than 80 billion pesos in bribes in Colombia, whereas Dr. Gabriel Jaime will explain, a series of charges will be brought against various Brazilians who had not been charged in Colombia and who had not been prosecuted in this country, which also means that the criminal bribery mechanism that existed in the country has been completely articulated.
Moreover, the prosecutor Gabriel James affirmed that the criminal enterprise created by Odebrecht was stealth and operated in Colombia.
It is a matter of pointing out to you, confirming that the plea bargain accepted by the Brazilians before the United States Department of Justice, how in fact this criminal enterprise that they accepted was transferred and applied in Colombia, and how from here, in the exercise of evidentiary and legal differences, it is now possible to determine and confirm that in fact the objectives and modus operandi and the means that they conceived, incubated, and developed were effectively applied in our country.
A 6.3 magnitude earthquake shook Bogota and central Colombia around noon on Thursday, according to reports from the U.S. Geological Survey, and it's also reported that one person died in a related incident. Several aftershocks were registered after the earthquake. The most recent was one around 8:15 local time, which according to the Colombian Geological Service was 5.1. The mayor of Bogota, Claudia Lopez Hernandez, reported in a video posted on the social network X that a woman died in an incident related to the quake. The woman lived in the Magdalena neighborhood in Ciudad Bolivar and apparently out of panic jumped from a 10th floor and died. Lopez Hernandez said that this was the only serious incident they had. In a message accompanying the video, the official also added that they deeply regret the event and that they provided health teams to those who were with her in the house. In Argentina, more than 1,000 families were affected by the floods caused by heavy rainfall that hit the city of La Plata with particular strength. According to reports from the authorities, in 1 hour, it rains the same volume of water equivalent to what it usually rains in the whole month of August. As a consequence, dozens of streets and houses were totally flooded after the streams that crossed the city overflowed. Hundreds of people had to be evacuated, and civil defense indicated that the storms are expected to continue and be accompanied by gusts of winds, electrical activity, and hail. The authorities also suggest to avoid going out and take the necessary precautions in the heavy rains. Wildfires continue to burn in northwest Canada, causing the evacuation of thousands of residents. Canadian residents had to drive hundreds of miles to safety, while others waited in a long line for emergency flights, facing the worst fire season in record in the country. The flames, driven by strong winds, were 10 miles from the northern edge of the town of Yellowknife and home to 20,000 residents. Authorities asked people in the 4 highest risk areas to evacuate as soon as possible. In the United States, authorities report 111 deaths and at least 1,000 missing after Hawaii wildfire. Security forces do not know the real number of deaths after the forest incident of the last few days, and they also believe that the Polish figure could rise as rescuers locate bodies and remove debris. On the other hand, authorities detail that identifying the dead would not be easy, since most of them are unrecognizable and there is a little chance of finding fingerprints. Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where we find news in different formats, new days, and more. Other stories coming up, stay with us. Welcome back. Ecuador is getting ready for its general elections next August 20th, and previously we represented the profile of the candidate Xian Topic from the Country Without Fear Alliance and Daniel Novoa from the National Democratic Action. This time we are presenting the profile of the candidate whose some surveys are placing today in second place. His name, Otto Sonelsoner, but who is he? Our correspondent Elena Rodriguez has the answer from Ecuador.
40-year-old Otto Sonenhosner is a businessman and radio broadcaster from Guayaquil. He was vice president of Ecuador between December 2018 and July 2020. At that moment, he was a new face on the political scene.
Fue el vicepresidente de Lenin Moreno, que tiene escrito en la frente traidor.
He was vice president of Lenin Moreno, who has traitor written on his forehead. And it's very difficult to read the people around him with a dollar tattooed on his forehead, which was not only a betrayal of the political project that brought him to power, but also a betrayal of the people, because everything they both did in the government, Lenin Moreno and Sonenhosner, was aimed at transferring power to the elites and institutionalizing the country.
As vice president, he played a leading role during the COVID-19 pandemic, and when the country was at its most critical moment, he resigned his position.
It is very difficult to dissociate himself from having escaped from power when he was unable to give a concrete response to a situation that was one of the most painful for the people here. That is, let us remember that the neglect and opportunism that prevailed at the time led to the people dying in streets in their homes and to Ecuador being recognized as one of the countries in the most critical condition in terms of public policy at that time.
He's running for the presidency under the Let's Act coalition, which brings together the Suma and Advance parties. In his speech, he's careful not to pigeonhole himself on the left or on the right.
That's why with us there will also be prosperity for the families. Peace in the streets, money in the homes, prosperity for the family that needs the state to guarantee its education, its health, its security, the family that needs to live in a country that gives them hope. here in their own land, not somewhere else.
Sonnenholzner is an economist by trade. He recently received a master's degree in public administration from Harvard. His campaign proposal is based on 5 axes with special focus on security and social investment.
According to the numbers that I have been able to analyze, Sonnenholzner could be competing for a second place, and it could be a hot threat if he were to be on a runoff elections against the Citizen Revolution, because he could pull together a large coalition to confront the Citizen Revolution.
The Citizens' Revolution movement is represented by Luisa González, who, according to several surveys, has at present around 30 percentage points of voting intention versus almost 12 points for Sonnenholzner. His running mate, Erika Paredes, is a newcomer to the political scene, but not to the public arena. She has a degree in international affairs and has worked for the United Nations organization. On August 20th, more than 13 million Ecuadorians will go to the presidential election to elect their new representatives from among 8 candidates.
Elena Rodríguez, TeleSUR Ecuador.
And now we move on to other topics. In Belarus, Chinese Defense Minister Li Shangfu met with Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko on Thursday, during the first visit to the country by the Chinese Defense Minister since Russia's special military operation in Ukraine. During the meeting, Lukashenko noted that Belarus depended mainly on friends such as China and Russia for military aid. He also expressed cordial greetings to Chinese President Xi Jinping. Li arrived in Minsk a day after attending the Moscow Conference on International Security in Russia, where he said Beijing will strengthen military cooperation with the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, an economic and security group led by China and Russia. The Chinese minister said his visit to Belarus is to implement important agreements at the level of heads of states and to further strengthen bilateral military cooperation. Belarus is expected to officially join the SCO by next year.
Your current and first visit to Belarus, and I hope not the last one, is very important for Belarus. I want you to know that all of our cooperation is very important. We have never kept it secret from anyone. By no means will it be directed against third-party countries. We don't need that. We need to keep our states and our people safe. The main views on the present and future world order are absolutely the same in the People's Republic of China and in Belarus. We have been showcasing this with you for the past 3 decades.
President Vladimir Putin and Moscow's mayors the gates of Nadi took part on Thursday in a lunch ceremony for passenger traffic on Moscow's Central American Street. The length on the new MCD3, as it's called, is 85 kilometers and it has 38 stations, 14 of which are interchange stations. The new branch is expected to improve the transportation station in 24 districts of Moscow and 4 cities in the capital region. According to experts, the diameter will be used by more than 570,000 people per day. It's part of the Western sanctions imposed on Russia in order to destroy the country's economy, targeting sectors such as engineering, construction, manufacturing, and transportation. Russia has been thriving, improving the standard of living of its citizens. UN experts have recognized Moscow as the world's best metropolis in terms of quality of life. During the event, the Russian president suggested building high-speed rails linked from Moscow to the Belarusian capital of Minsk and the city of Luhansk and Donetsk.
Unconditionally, it will be necessary to think about how to connect both Luhansk and Donetsk. It seems to me that this issue should be worked out with the government of Belarus. I will talk with the president. The Minsk direction would be in great demand, both by our residents and the residents of Belarus. Moreover, we are developing the construction of the Union State at a good pace.
Russian and Chinese Navy ships have been jointly conducting maritime patrols and naval exercises in the Pacific Oceans in order to counter air strikes. Images released by the Russian Defense Ministry on Friday show ships of the navies of the 2 countries participating in joint maritime patrols. The maneuvers involve rescue training and anti-aircraft drills, and a defense portfolio for the said that is including practice and replenishment of its reservoirs by ships and transfer of cargo on the move. adding that the joint detachment of ships had covered more than 6,400 nautical miles in the start of the exercises. TeleSUR English launches its own videos on demand sites for you to go and revisit our interviews, sub-stories, special broadcastings, and more. Just go to the downloads corner on our website homepage and click on the video option to access our VO platform. Now we will have a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, 230 people, including children, have died of cholera in the first 7 months of 2023. In this period, more than 31,000 suspected or confirmed cases of the disease were registered in the country. The most affected province has been North Kivu, which has had more than 21,000 confirmed or suspected cases, including more than 8,000 children under 5 years of age. The UNIFED coordinator stressed that if urgent measures are not taken into the coming months, there is a significant risk that the disease will spread to parts of the country that have not been affected for many years. On Thursday, West African military chief met in Ghana to coordinate a possible armed intervention to reverse the coup in Niger, as Germany called for EU sanctions against the rebel leaders. Alarmed by series of military takeovers in the region, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has agreed to activate a standby force to restore constitutional order in Niger. ECOWAS is demanding Niger's coup leaders release President Mohamed Bazoum, warning that the bloc could send in troops as a last resort if negotiations fail. Abdel Fattah Moussa, an ECOWAS Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, said the ACFRA meeting will fine-tune details in case the bloc were to resort the ultimate means of force. ECOWAS has already applied trade and financial sanctions, while France, Germany, and the United States have suspended aid programs.
I'd like to remind us all that the purpose of our gathering is not simply to react to events, but to proactively chart a course that preserves peace, promotes stability, and upholds democratic principles across our region. We must remember that our collective actions today will shape the legacy we leave for future generations. Our task as the Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff of ECOWAS states is to ensure that our responses to this crisis are not driven by fear, but by the principles of justice, respect for human rights, and the unwavering commitment to the rule of law. We must strive to uphold the integrity of our institutions, protect the sovereignty of our states, and safeguard the democratic rights of our people.
So this is the determination that I want to put across here as we meet today, to fine-tune, and then also to plan about the timing, about order. Meanwhile, we are still giving diplomacy a chance. The ball is in the court of the junta, the CNSP, in Niger. If they pull back from the brink, the military option will not be necessary. But we want to warn them that all options are on the table, and no option is off the table.
In South Africa, after today's meeting and months of negotiations between 7 opposition parties, the multi-party convention agreed to work more closely as the country heads towards elections in 2024. During the ceremony, leaders of the various parties signed a multi-party charter which will pave the way to oust the ruling African Nations Congress and led by President Cyril Ramaphosa. The leaders called on different parties that were not part of the group to reach out and join the efforts in making sure that the ANC is removed from power, claiming that the country is being misgoverned and the rule of law is not respected. For the first time since the advanced democracy in 1994, the African National Congress risks losing its parliamentary majority in 2024 and therefore the presidency. This comes against the backdrop of growing discontent with corruption, an unprecedented energy crisis, and a flying economy marked by unemployment.
moment for South Africa. This is the first in the modern era of South Africa that coalition is cobbled together before an election campaign.
The foundation laid by this group over the past 3 months has laid the foundation upon which a new government can be built, one which is stable and that can address the pressing needs of all South Africans.
We have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Ana Rosabal. Thank you for watching.